All right, good afternoon, traders. Today, August 6th, 2026. My name, Coach Kerrigan, instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Today, I had a $7,400 account risk. I only wanted to risk 10%, but some things kept dipping faster than I wanted them to, so I wound up having to double down a couple times. And using up more of my risk than I wanted to, but I wound up cutting it all back anyways. So I risked supposed to risk only 740. I risked probably twice that, so it's 1480. I was able to capture 800 today, and it's not an easy day. I was looking for that 10-minute downtrend. We had a break right here, and then they chose to turn around and test the top side of the range before coming down. And of course, Tex gave us a nice presentation on that, and he showed us that stochastics were down here in the 2-0 area, kind of in the oversold. So the chances of us heading lower were quite slim as we came into the absolute GEX, which was that 70-71 large put strike with the gamma exposure on it. So we wound up bouncing all the way back up here to the 771 area, and then we turned around. Then from there we finally made our way down. So and then we got into here, and I was short, but then we got the double bottom. At that point I said that's it for me, and I had some longs already, so I flipped to the longs and rode them back up here to VWAP. All right, my longs I chose instead of 0 DTEs. I picked up the 1 DTE. So if overnight they wind up coming all the way back up to 775, 777, I will recapture a lot of that. So we'll see what happens. But I think this is probably going to be the bottom of the flag right here with the double bottom. It's hard to say. It looks like they may want to take it down a little bit lower. We'll see what happens. We don't seem to be rising back up there in any rush or any hurry. So we'll see what happens here. So this is SPY on the 10-minute. So we had our 10-minute downtrend. As you can see on the 10-minute chart, you've got the 3 underneath the 8, and the 8 is pointed down, and the VWAP is pointed down, and you got a little picture of money there. But we came into the double bottom, had to turn it around, take it all the way back up here to VWAP. Anyways, you got 10-minute downtrend, so we rode this down to these lows, down to 767.50. We had a put wall down there that we took price into. Now the gamma regime was negative at the time of arriving there into this put wall, but you can see kind of held up kind of nicely right there, create a little double bottom, and you can see now price took it all the way back up to VWAP. So we'll see what they want to do today. Okay, so we got looks like a possible higher low over here, possible. All right, we'll see if they want to drive it all the way back up there to 775. So there's SPY on the 10-minute coming into the close. We got an uptrend, but then it just got pinched off. So based on this price action here, it's kind of bearish consolidation. So I'm going to call it, because we're not up over VWAP, so I'm going to call it bearish consolidation into the close on the 10-minute chart. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to slide this down. And what we want is the 2-hour chart. See what we're doing on the 2-hour. And you know what I want to do? I want to take off the pre-market because I want to give us a better clarity. Okay, so on the 2-hour chart, I can't really tell if we've got an uptrend or a downtrend, so I'm going to call that bullish consolidation. So bullish consolidation on the 2-hour chart. 10-minute chart has bearish consolidation. As you can see, price came down and over to the right, but on the 2-hour chart, price moves up and over to the right. So we got bullish consolidation on the 2-hour chart and bearish consolidation on the 10-minute chart. You can see price come down and over to the right there. Okay, so let's take a look at the daily candle. Remember yesterday we made a new all-time high, so today we put lower high, lower low, closed over the bullish trap, over the hooking 17 EMA right there. We're at the top of quadrant 4, so we're bullish, still bullish up there. All right, and we're still in an uptrend. We haven't made any lower lows since making that higher high. So we're bullish on the daily, weekly, right here, weekly, we're still bullish. Origin of the rally starts back here in April. So that's daily's bullish, weekly's bullish, and monthly is still bullish. That's SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. And for QQQ on the 10-minute chart, and you can see I'm going to take this out of here because I don't need that. Okay, so on QQQ, now they gapped down this morning, a little bit different than SPY. And you can see they moved up and over to the right. So for them on QQQ, that's kind of bullish consolidation on the 10-minute chart because we moved up and over to the right. Price kind of struggling here, both QQQ and SPY. I'm not sure what the problem is. I think it might be FNGU. We'll find out soon here when we take a look at it. 10-minute chart, bullish consolidation for QQQ. 2-hour chart, again, you can see neither an uptrend or a downtrend, so price moves up and over to the right. Going to call that bullish consolidation. On the 2-hour chart, daily chart, lower high, lower low, just like SPY. Closing over a bullish trap, closing over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP once again. And we're in the middle of quadrant 4. We made higher highs here. We haven't made any lower lows since then. So this is bullish and in an uptrend still for QQQ on the daily chart. Weekly chart still bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart still bullish and in an uptrend. See all the green dots. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow, and we'll look at that on a daily chart. Okay, so Diamond Dow, yesterday new all-time high. Today lower high, lower low, closing over bullish trap over the 17, top of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish and still in an uptrend right there on Diamond Dow, IWM. IWM, same candle, lower high, lower low. Remember yesterday, new all-time high as well. Closing over, closing inside a bullish trap over the hooking 17 EMA, top of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish and in an uptrend on IWM. Let's take a look at FNGU. Okay, FNGU, lower high, lower low, just like the others, closing over a bullish trap, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, over the hooking 17, over the midpoint, bottom of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish and in an uptrend for FNGU. So everybody kind of made the same candle today. Okay, so there's FNGU, QQQ, SPY. Everybody's still bullish and in uptrends as far as the indexes go, and this ETN right here, FNGU. Let's take a look at silver and gold. All right, so here's silver with a lower high, a lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA, under the all-time high anchored VWAP under the midpoint. In the middle of quadrant 2, that's still neutral, and they haven't made a lower low since making the higher high, so that remain in an uptrend. Neutral and in an uptrend for silver, having a little pullback today. Gold didn't give you much of a pullback today with a higher low and a higher high, closed over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA, still in the middle of quadrant 3, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP, not quite in the upper third yet. All right, so neutral and in an uptrend. We got a high here, they made a higher high, so they're neutral and in an uptrend for gold. Let's take a look at USO. USO got a higher low, a higher high, closed inside bearish trap under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. This is neutral right here because we're in the middle of quadrant 3. This is not the all-time high anchored VWAP. This is a 14-year high anchored VWAP. And you got a low here, obviously got a lower low, so we're still neutral and in a downtrend for USO. Now, UNG, remember a few days ago or last week, made a new all-time low. So, well, today they dug out another new all-time low. So, who knows? Maybe natural gas will be free before long. So, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under that falling 17, bottom of quadrant 2, making a new all-time low. All right, so this is obviously going to be bearish because we're not, definitely not in the neutral area, definitely not in the bullish area. We're at the very bottom of quadrant 1, making new all-time lows. So it's hard not to be bearish and in a downtrend when you're making new all-time lows. So there's UNG, all-time low, made again today. So on the daily chart, let's take a look at internals. We'll start with T2101. And for T2101, got a little bit of increase in participation today as the market kind of pulls back. So that's a welcoming sign. That goes to the bulls, seeing the higher participation come back in. Got a higher low and a higher high, and holding the elevation over the prior price action right here before. Again, you got a step up, another step up. I like it. That goes to the bulls on the T2101. T2122, I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give it to the bulls only because they failed. They did not let it fall into the seller's chop zone. But all in all, they seem to be losing control, all right, because we got lower lows and lower highs made today, and we're actually making a challenge of the midpoint right here. So we might be going a little bit lower tomorrow. That might not be the bottom of the flag just yet. We'll see what happens. T2122 15-minute chart. You can see the bulls had control all day, keeping the ball or the price line up here over the inside the buyer's chop zone. A brief visit inside the buy zone, but we did not let it. They did not let it fall into the seller's chop zone, sell zone, or the oversold zone. So nice work for the bulls today. I'm going to give that one to the bulls. T2122, T2123. Remember that was yesterday new all-time highs, and again today. Look at that, new all-time highs on T2123. I don't even think they filled gap. They're coming close, but they have not filled gap yet. So gap up and over to the right. As you can see, we got a low here. They made a high. They made a lower low. So we're in a downtrend based on the 15-minute chart. Okay, T2123. And really, it was not easy. They kind of snuck that one in there. All right, we're up over the rising 200 SMA. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. Keep in mind, it's only a 15-minute chart, but that's a new all-time high for T2123 today. So bullish, but in a downtrend, making a new all-time high on T2123. 3-bar chart is obviously going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Top of quadrant 4, new all-time high. Again, over that rising 200 SMA. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. T2123. FNGU for today is, well, kind of a melt off continuation of what happened yesterday. That almost looks like one drift over to the right there. So look like they're kind of letting it free fall, but it's not falling. It's just kind of, there's no bids coming in underneath there. Anyways, for FNGU, we got a low here. We made a lower low. And then there's, well, no, this is a continuation of this low because we haven't made a high. So There's a high right here. Did we make a lower low? Not yet. Okay, so believe it or not, because we didn't make a high before making this low, all right, we're still in an uptrend. All right, we made a high right here, but we did not make a higher high. Okay, and we made some lows here, but we did not make a lower low. So we remain in an uptrend as price moves up and over to the right here on FNGU, up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, up over the 200 SMA. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. Nice work on FNGU holding that higher ground. I do think they're giving up a little bit more than I want them to, but we'll see what happens. Let's give them some time to take care of business. So that's FNGU. On the dollar index, still in a downtrend. Got a low right here underneath the 17. Made a lower low. So, all right, so it's back inside the 12-month consolidation channel right through here. This would be our bear flag that we were in before we broke out over here, and then we came back right there. All right, so any questions? Anybody want me to look at a stock for them? If not, I'm going to call it a day. Price not very, how do I say it? Not a lot of oomph in it. Kind of a meh day. Did I see my walkthrough? I did see some of it, and I had to step away for some of it. So I did record it, though. So I am looking forward to watching the recording. And I will post the recording with you, text, and then you decide if you want to share it with the room or whatever parties you want to share it with. So, okay, here for now. Okay, so I'll put it in the alerts right up here. All right? Is that good? All right. So put it up there. So that's it for right now. Kind of a meh day. Looking for better. Let's move back over to SPY. So we came back to VWAP, and now it looks like made a little double bottom. Now we made a little double top, and now we're coming back down. We'll see if they want to finish this measured move down to 761. See what the gamma says. All right, was it 768? Now it's at 767 again. As we're coming back into 767. The regime is still negative as we melt off here.